Everyone in our life faced the Emmaus, road to Emmaus. Sometimes we never understand, sometimes we understand. These two disciples had the same case. First, they were spending the time with Jesus, who did mighty deeds, and he did miracles. Then this same Jesus was crucified and died. And they see these events. And in fact, they lost their hope. And that is why they were running from this difficult moment in Jerusalem. They were running to Emmaus because they were confused. The plan of God, they were confused of their life. That is why they were just going to get relief. And in this way, God appeared to them and accompanied them patiently, and teaching them, helping them to understand the real plan of God. Even though they didn't understand. And at the end, they came to understand while breaking the bread. That is the point their eyes were open. And not only patiently accompanying and guiding to them, but he nourished their faith. He nourished their faith so that they may always believe that Jesus is alive. And in our life, sometimes we are like these two disciples. Sometimes something happens in our life and we are despair. We lose hope. We say that God is not there. Even we blame God. Even we say this and that to God. Because the way we wanted is not happen. The way we were expecting things did not happen. Even these two disciples were thinking, we were thinking this man to be a prophet who can deliver us from everything. And he can be a deliverer of Israel. But that things didn't happen. So that is why they were despair. In our life also, many times we are despair. And sometimes some of us, we understand that life is not end. And we proceed, we go forward. And some of us, we give up. We give up God, we give up everything, and at the end we give up our life. We don't sense or give meaning to our life. And that is what Jesus always accompanies us in this moment of Emmaus. To help us. So we have to acknowledge when we are hopeless, despair, confused, we always acknowledge that Jesus is alive and he is guiding me, he is accompanying me, and I need to understand. Saint Anselm says that faith always seeks understanding. And our faith is always seeking understanding. If we have faith that Jesus is alive, then we will seek understanding. We will understand, always seek in our life. Everything is happening in our life, we will seek understanding, then we understand, then we will appreciate that what God is doing in our life. If we are not seeking understanding, then we will never understand in our life what God is doing. At the end, we blame God for what we do. These people also were blaming what people did. But it is not what people did, but what God is doing for us. So we have to see always that to travel the road to Emmaus is discouragement, confusion, and doubting. But nevertheless, God is with us to guide us, who always wants to lift us up so that we may seek understanding in our life. When we begin to lose our hope in our life, it is primarily because we fail to understand the plan of God for our life correctly. We have failed to see that God permits certain things for His glory. He permits certain hardships to deepen our faith and trust in Him. When we fail to see His permissive will in all things, we will become discouraged and confusion. So all the discouragement, confusion, and disappointments are we fail to see the plan of God. We fail to see the permissive God is allowing in our life. Sometimes to grow in faith, sometimes to stronger our faith, to make strong our faith, sometimes to see how much we love Him. And above all, that Jesus is always alive, and He is alive, and He will be alive always. And He is not going to die again. Like Lazarus, he was rose from the dead, but he died again. The widow's son, he rose from the dead, but he died again. But Jesus rose from the dead, and He is not dead again. So we trust this Jesus who is risen, so that we may seek everything in our life, whatever is happening in our life, we seek understanding in having faith in Jesus, so that whatever is happening with the plan of God, so that we may more and more appreciate our life as well as what God is doing in our life.